Hi, my name is Lee and welcome to the 6th video in this series on building better, more resilient bots for your automation projects. In this video we're going to cover how to make your bot logic more modular and reusable. Okay, so here we are in our bot logic that we've been building throughout this series of videos, and something we covered earlier about making your code more readable by breaking down the logic into these natural sort of steps that are occurring, these logical functional points. That's already given us these nice little units where we can consider, is this something that we want to create a separate module for and push that bit of logic out into a separate piece of bot logic. Now, why might we want to do that? There's two main reasons. The first is that in doing so, you're making it much easier to build any future functionality that's going to use that same piece of code. It's already built, so why not just reuse it over and over again? So take, for instance, the various actions here that we perform to log into the Invoicely application. Each time I build a new bot that's going to work with Invoicely, I'm going to do those same sort of steps. So why not actually create that as some reusable piece of bot logic that I can reference in every bot that I build for the Invoicely application. So that's the first benefit, being able to speed up future bot development. The other benefit is it makes it much easier to maintain your bots over time, because for instance, if we use that example again, the Invoicely login steps, if it's done in one place, all I need to do, if I need to make any changes to that piece of logic, is change it in one place, and then every bot that reuses that little module of reusable logic is going to instantly pick up those changes. So two very big benefits there to making your code more modular. Now, I'm using the Automation Anywhere platform, but these are concepts that can be applied to automation in general and whichever platform you happen to be using. So the first particular set of logic I want to move out to a separate module is these steps here where I'm setting up my logging for this application. So I'm going to highlight each of these steps within this particular step command here, which is just used to organize them at this point in time. And a handy little function we have here in Automation Anywhere is to copy these to the shared clipboard. That lets me come across to a separate browser window here where I can create a new bot and paste those steps in. Now, I'm not going to do this, or not going to create this bot in the Invoicely folder here, because this is something that's going to be reused again and again across all of my bots. So I've created a separate folder down here called Utilities, and this is where I'm going to create my initialize login bot. And now I can paste these steps down from our shared clipboard, and notice that it's brought across all of the actions that we copied, all of the configuration for those actions, but additionally any of the variables that are referenced within those actions have also been brought across. So notice here it's brought across our process name and our process subfolder. Now, these default values that have been set here, which if I open up one of these you'll see have come across from our parent application. We don't want to actually set the defaults in here because this is something that's going to be called every time we run a bot that's leveraging logging. So I really don't want a default value in there that references one particular bot. What I want to be able to do is feed that in at the time that I call the bot. And we can do that by flagging this particular variable as an input variable. And that will enable us to pass in that data at the time that the bot is called. So additionally, this one here, we will take out the default value and also flag it as an input variable. Now, not only can we have input variables, we can also have output variables. So if I wanted to do some testing within the bot logic here, well, not testing, but some error trapping and return an error status to my parent bot, if I wanted to do some calculations in here and return a value back to my parent bot, I could also do that by using output variables. So as an example, let's say I want to return a status, a success or failure. I create a variable called status, and I flag that one not as an input but as an output variable. And I could initially set a value here as OK. I might also use a boolean, for instance, and then within this bot logic here I could override that value and put in a error code or some other kind of status that gets returned, so when my parent bot calls the child bot, if there's any problem it can also return that back. So let's take a look at how that would be referenced in our parent bot. Here we are back in our parent bot, and these steps which are in our logging step wrapper here are no longer needed. So let's copy all the way down to here. and I can delete those because I have that logic in my child bot. I now need to add a way of calling that child bot. So we do that with the taskbot command, and if I drag that one across here, I can then select the particular taskbot that I wish to run. So we'll browse for that in our utilities folder. And notice as I set that particular bot there, it's brought across these input values which need to be provided. Now I have those defaults already set in the equivalent variables in my parent bot here, so I can just come across and say process subfolder. I'll feed in the variables here where we have those values saved. And down here within the return parameters, so this is where I can actually pick up the return values from our bot, our output parameters. There's two ways we can do this. We can either map individual variables, or I can use a dictionary object to pick up all of the variables that have been returned, and then I would pick out the particular value from the dictionary by referencing its name. In this case, I'll show how to add a particular mapping because we created our status variable, and there you see it comes up as available to select from, and I could feed that into a status variable which I also have set up here in my parent bot, and then I could check what has been returned in this case to determine a success or fail of that child bot. Okay, so there's a quick overview of how you can identify particular pieces of logic within your bots that could be reused over and over again, and to take those and move them out into separate reusable modules. And having done that with the logging, I could go ahead and do the same for my application cleanup logic here, for my login to the Invoicely application. And then I can leave just the particular logic that is unique to this bot that I'm creating here, which in this case would be the functionality to create invoices. So that's all I have time for at the moment. Thank you very much for watching, and if you'd like to be notified of the next video being released, then please subscribe to my channel.